Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. And today we have a treat. An entrepreneur for United States is joining us today, and you are about to hear an amazing story how you can even reach $1 million mark by investing in property. So, Adrian, can you please introduce yourself?
Yes, Harry, thanks for having me. So I'm Adrian Smude. I'm originally from Florida, in the middle of Florida, a little town called Plant City. We're the winter strawberry capital of the world. And my niche within the real estate space is actually mobile homes.
Wow, that's fantastic. Tell us a little bit more about that.
So mobile homes, they're not the sexy Instagram worthy item, but they fill a niche and a void in the market of the affordable housing space. And then for us as the entrepreneurs, they give us a lot of money, a really high cash flow. We've got them all the way back into the 1960s, the old ones. So if you're watching, you can see the
Wow.
one that came with most of its siding. And we buy them with the land and rent them out.
Wow, that's fantastic. And then, can I ask you something? If somebody want to build a little bit something else, an extension there in that land, is it possible?
And that's going to depend on the zoning for that area, which in the US changes everywhere. Depends on the state, then depends on the county, and then even the city. So it changes everywhere. Honestly, some of the cities don't like mobile homes. And one of the reasons is they don't get as much taxes. We were chatting a little bit beforehand about
Yeah.
we pay a lot less than the taxes because, well, the government doesn't think there's any value there. So if the area has a property tax, they see no value. They want the value of the big tall skyscraper that they can get a high tax rate on. But some of the
Mm.
cities are saying, hey, we want to get rid of these mobile homes. We want someone to come in and build something tall that we can charge a lot in taxes for. But when
Mm.
we have these as rentals, we love it because we have less money in the business.
In my opinion, I think that actually, if you refurbish them properly, they turn out amazing, right?
Of
Same
course,
like
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, you can fix and rehab them, and they look exactly like any modern day house. Now, the older ones, the 1960s and 70s, you're probably not going to put that much money into them because the structure is not as sound, but you could. Usually, we put that money into it when it's a 1990s or newer. It's a stronger structure, and we can put the same materials as any house. We can go to the new modular or the new houses, the new builds when you see this brand new house, look at everything they have there and go and copy it and put the same granite, same finish and paints on it. And it works. They're beautiful houses for much less money.
Yeah, and also in the beautiful landscapes as well, right? Like I can see, you have the forest, you have different. So, what are the biggest? So, Adrian, the mobile homes you specialize there in the area of Florida or all over US?
Yeah, so I specialize in Central Florida, a very tight little market, because that's where I live and that's where I decided to invest. There's enough deals there. I didn't want to go and learn the laws around the whole country,
Yeah.
but we've got mobile homes all over the place. So I teach around the country, and you just have to change the laws a little bit, figure out the new laws that are there. They're just change a little bit, but those change for every type of housing. So it can
Hmm.
work everywhere. People are like, oh, well, it's too cold in some areas. I just got back from a family vacation in Alaska and I spotted mobile homes everywhere. So if
And
they
maybe
can be in
people can make a lot of
Alaska,
money with Airbnb, right?
yeah. Oh yeah, we stayed at one when we first started getting into mobile homes. Actually, we were in Georgia in the mountains in an Airbnb,
Wow.
and my wife says this is a mobile home, and I actually told her no, it's not.
You
I
saw
went
was a normal
outside and I
house.
looked underneath. Yeah, it was a mobile home. They put wooden siding on it. We were in the middle of the woods. That's what we wanted is a beautiful Airbnb, quiet and in nature. And that's what they did.
And at the end of the day, is why we should pay more for the same value. You know what I mean? I think that we are all caught into this financial system. Oh, we need to get the mortgage. We have to have the brick and mortar. We have to do this. We have to do that. And at the end of the day, it's all uh, uh, maybe story for make us pay more than what it's really worth. Here in UK, we have a huge issue with the houses. They are really expensive, and people don't know what to do. Like I was sharing with you, we know people here in United Kingdom that this is what they do in the after they reach 60 and they're retired. What they do is they're selling the property, brick and mortar, and buying mobile homes, which is actually way cheaper, and take this money and use it for holidays or give
Yeah.
it to the children and so on. And they're beautiful houses, right? And it's a huge difference, right?
Yeah, it's you're not alone. Houses, the pricing has gone up in America as well. I think we have a huge affordable housing challenge really in the whole world. We the housing prices have just skyrocketed
It's a huge inflation
faster
at the
than the
moment here in
wages.
UK.
Yeah, so that is one of the reasons I love it. Yes, I make a lot of money. I am an entrepreneur. I got to make money. But at the
Ah,
same time, I get to help fill the void of the affordable housing space that the people that can't
of
afford
course.
the big mortgages or they just don't want to go into a big debt or like you said, they want to retire and actually spend their money, not spend
Yeah,
it all on a mortgage. They want to travel the
yeah,
world and or leave some to their kids and being a part of that while making money is pretty amazing.
exactly. You providing a solution that would be very convenient for the people because you can actually release some money from your house and those houses after you can refurbish them and put a little bit of touch they look like the other ones, right? I was sharing with
Yeah.
you here in UK people some I was checking the other day and you can buy a boat, yeah, and live in a boat in here in the river and you will be almost in central London, which is very expensive, and you will be buying your house for a fraction of the cost, right? It's about thinking outside the box, and the people ask themselves this question: why you pay more for the same thing, right?
Exactly. A lot of our residents, they're wanting the privacy, they're wanting a safe place to live, and then they're wanting some land. You know, it could be maybe a quarter acre or acre. They just don't want to be on top of each other in a house. They want to be
Hmm.
able to have some animals running around the outside. So they don't care so much about the structure. Those are the items that they want and they value more and they are willing to pay for that. And you mentioned about the rebuilding them. That's one of the
Hmm.
big myths that, oh, they all fall apart. No, if you keep the good maintenance and you do the work on them, just like any house, you can rebuild them. They can be beautiful. You can put the same products as any house in it. It's a myth out there.
So, Adrian, what is your secret for success?
You know, it's the mindset side of it. You know, we always talk about business and the money and all that. And I believe that that is a pretty easy topic. You know, I can hand you my book and here's exactly how to do business.
Oh, let me see your book.
But
Let me see.
yeah, I
Wow,
kept
what's
it
the
yellow
name?
like everything else.
How to buy mobile homes. Wow, like the title. Really cool.
Thank you. You can read this book just like anyone else's book and get everything how to do it. But if we don't have the belief that we can do it, you know, we were talking about some famous people that, you know, you've been on stages with, Tony Robbins, like he teaches that us that. If we don't have the belief that we can do it, nothing in that book will help. So for
Mm.
me, a lot of it is my mindset. I do work every day on that. I'm a very big Hal Elrod fan. He's got the Miracle Morning. So every morning I meditate. I go to yoga almost every morning. Where I'm at now, I have a 25-minute walk. So I choose to walk there instead of drive because I get to see the beautiful sunrise. And but that recharges me and I get to practice gratitude, which then gives me the energy to be on here and talk to you
Hmm.
and gives me the right positive mindset to talk to my team and to talk to any sellers. So, to me, that's the secret of success is getting our mind right. And for me, I have to get up early in the morning, do that before the world opens up to me, you know, everyone starts emailing and texting and calling. if I can set that pace right, my day is great. I don't have problems. I just quickly find solutions instead of, oh, it's stressing me out. I'm having a Monday, quote unquote. I don't have those.
Mm-hmm.
Like, all right, we can figure it out. Everything's, the smile. And when that happens, it slips. I go back to my practices. I go back maybe into nature for a few minutes, take a few minutes to meditate, read something positive, get on YouTube, listen to a podcast that has some positive energy to it. That's one of my biggest it's not a secret, but what we don't always do to success.
I agree 100%. I think that some people say that 80% of the success of entrepreneurs is the mindset. I was speaking with my friend Tara the other day, and she said that somebody's written that 98% of the success of the entrepreneur is actually in the mindset. Entrepreneurs, we do have to work on ourselves. And because we take a lot, right? It's a
Yes.
lot to take, it's a lot to process with the tenants, with the clients, with the operation. And we are the only responsible for ourselves, for our behavior. And if we are not operating calm, and we are in peace and we're in gratitude and in positive state of mind, then we are on charge for everybody. If you are chaotic, your whole business will be chaotic. It's a reflection of you, and it takes time to to realize that. But why property? Do you decide to become an entrepreneur on the first place?
I grew up in an entrepreneur family. I grew up in the middle of the business, actually. My parents had a nursery where we grew plants and then they sold some statuary and wrought iron. And we lived right in the middle of the garden center. So you
Wow.
walked outside and you had all the customers right there. So we didn't go on, we'll say, just a vacation or a holiday. We went on a business trip that we went sightseeing. So
Wow.
everything was business. But I grew up with that, and my parents had more of those small business mentality where it was work, 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 which is great. I mean, they taught me a lot of things with that. Now I want a little bit of separation of the two.
Mm,
But what they taught me is they could go on these vacations and travel. They didn't have to ask someone for that week off and get a request and then it get denied. So it was the freedom. That's what really attracted me to it. And I dabbled in the real estate. Then I became a swing and day trader in the stock market some. And I played around some other businesses, but I got back to the real estate. And then when I got really focused, that's another, I think, big key to success is getting focused on one thing and not the shiny object. And I got that focus. I found the mobile homes. It was working and I took off with it. And that has been one of my other keys is just stay in my lane. Yeah, I could do all these other things. And I want to go back to the stock market and win. Like I did okay, but I want to go back and really learn it. But
mm.
I can't do that and do my real estate business really well. I have to do one at a time.
And it's in the lane, yeah. And then but I think that very important step of the entrepreneur is to find what we call it the blue ocean, right? It's no point to do a strategy that everybody else is doing, like buying
Yes.
and selling and trying to find the houses below market value and so on. Those strategies they're over there, and a lot of people do it, but and so it's no point to go to a red ocean, yeah. When if you are thinking, if you can think outside the box, you can find a blue ocean, you can find a niche that not too many people are into this, and then you perfect, you improve that, and also you add value to the people. At the end of the day, it's about adding value to the marketplace, and I think that you come up with that solution. Somebody teach you, you learn by yourself, you find the mobile home, and you said I'm gonna fix it and rent it out.
I completely agree with your blue ocean, red ocean analogy. A strength of mine I found, like Tony Robbins, I'm good at finding commonalities of successful people. It's one reason I study so many successful people all the time. And that is definitely one of them. They make it big there. And then once you have some money, it can be a little easier to get into the crowded space. how did I find the mobile homes, which today is still a pretty empty niche? It's still wide open market. Well, what I didn't mention earlier about myself, my second property I ever bought a few decades ago, I lost it in that last recession we had that people seem to forget about, where we went crazy up and then all of a sudden all the mortgages, the US was a big problem of it.
Mhm.
Well, I bought at the top and gave that second property up as a short sale at the bottom. So I gave it up for 47% loss. That was a huge ding to my credit, of course, my ego, but my integrity. I did not pay my bills I said I was going to pay. So that lesson has always stayed in the back of my head. So fast forward a few years, I bought some more houses, but I thought we were at the top of the market. So I've been really wrong about the direction of the market. But that forced me to look for something different. So I started questioning successful investors in my area. These are people that have been in the business longer than I had been alive. And I found that common theme that they talked about mobile homes. Either they owned them currently or they owned them at some point. And they didn't talk big about them, but they mentioned them. And I found this out. I
Everybody
went
was
out.
mentioning, yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't like I'm a big mobile home investor, but I kept hearing that word. So I went out and bought a mobile home for cash. I spent the rest of our savings on it, $16,000. It looked a little bit better than the one I have behind me. And I put it for rent at $475 a month.
Wow.
So by a return on investment, that's huge.
Wow. Yeah.
So
Brilliant.
then I was like, well, this is pretty cool. I went out and did it over and over again. And I realized I tapped into this gold mine that no one's talking about. I made a lot of mistakes because there's not a lot of education out there, which is,
Yeah.
now one reason I'm teaching because I had to make a lot of mistakes the hard way. There's tons of education out there in the mindset and business and stuff, but it's just not a sexy topic because look at this thing. It doesn't
Mm.
look pretty to a lot of people, but it serves a purpose in the marketplace. It makes a lot of money. It feels good helping people. Now, this is not the finished product. This is the
Mm.
get your attention product. But that's why I found that there's not many
Oh, when
people.
it's like this, it's good news. When it's
Yeah.
like this,
Oh
it's
yeah, I look
good
at this.
because
This looks like
you fix it, and you make it amazing.
exactly. This is money to
This is
me.
where the
Other,
money is. Exactly, that one is where the money is, right?
yeah. What's the other one? If you have to hold your nose, you're gonna make a lot of money. Something like
No,
when you walk in.
here in UK when they show me a house totally destroyed. I'm like, yeah, you see.
Yeah. Yeah, because we're adding the value of knowing how to fix it up. We're adding the value
Mhm.
of realizing we don't have to put this to the dump. We can repair this.
Yeah.
So it's that knowledge. But I learned a lot of it the hard way. Yeah, I went to some mentors that had done it. And now I have learned, you asked the question about success, is I've learned to ask questions a lot more. I used to think I knew it all, which is really silly because I didn't know much at all. And I don't even now. I know a lot, but there's still so much I don't know. Oh, now I ask a lot of questions. I'm in
Mhm.
multiple masterminds. That's another key to my success. So I can go there in a closed room and just ask questions and say, hey, here are the problems. I just call friends. I say, hey, I'm having a trouble with this. Can you help me out? When in the
Mm.
past, I just learned it the hard way. And I,
Mm.
I go to a lot of education. We were talking about Tony Robbins events before. I go to those over and over because I need to
Yeah,
refresh. I need to
me too.
remember and learn again.
Yeah, you refresh and you are in the space with the entrepreneurs and it's that energy also, which is really 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 good. I think that we talk a lot here about property investment, and I think that there is a rule that we always look at, which is very very promising, and I think that this is exactly what we look. Yeah, with the houses, it doesn't care how much it costs. What it cares is how much rent, how much cash flow that thing can give you, because you need to pay bills every month, right? So when the I know there are houses here in UK that haven't gone in price in long time, but still they generate a very good cash flow. Make sense?
Yeah. Yep, exactly.
So
I measure everything on net cash flow. A lot of people like to look at gross, but that doesn't pay the bills. I
Or
like,
capital
what can I,
growth or assets or what?
yeah,
Yeah, but you don't pay bill with that, right?
yeah. What is my net cash flow? And I will look at any type of investment. I have some money in other places, but it's hard for me to find an investment that gives me a higher net return on my investment than these mobile homes.
Yeah. They are brilliant. It's amazing strategy. So, Adrian, in your opinion, right, what would be the 5 steps that has defined your blueprint in order to achieve your first million in sales?
Get some education, not too much, because then you get into analysis paralysis. You got to know enough to take the action, but not too much to get paralyzed. So get the education,
Very good.
go out there and make offers, whatever business you're in. Make offers for someone to buy your product or make offers to buy their real estate. Mess up some, because if you're not messing up, you're not moving fast enough. You're just stuck in, then it's going to be a decade later. So if we mess up, then we have to ask for help. And then like rearrange it all, take our strategy and then repeat it all again. I really think that's in every business where we're going a little forward, getting a little education, going forward, messing up a little bit, failing forward. John Maxwell's brilliant book. So that whole title, just fail forward, get up, ask for help from our coach and our mentors, change the strategy a little bit, and keep going. And I see that pattern in every successful person.
Yeah. And then what message do you have for the young people out there that they are thinking that they want to follow your same journey. They want to live that freedom that at least decide where they go on holiday and they want to start their own business. What advice do you have for them?
Create a vision of what you want your future life to look like. So for me, I value time a little bit more than money. So I would rather more hours of free time to go hiking than a Lamborghini. There's no right or wrong answer there, but knowing that that's what I value, now I know how to set my business up. And then the brilliant thing about being really young is you have a lot more time to mess up. I'm right in the middle now. I'm in my 40s. When you're in your 60s, you don't really have a lot of time to mess up. If you're in your 20s, early 20s, you can mess up over and over again. So it gives you a lot more runway. And, I did some of that younger than a lot of people. That is one of my best advices to really young people is just go take some action. Don't be scared of messing up. And the other piece of that, when you're really young, seasoned investors, seasoned entrepreneurs love to see that energy of someone really young starting out. We kind of like live through that person. So you'll get even more information for free. Or they'll see it when you're in their classes and they'll maybe gravitate to you a little more. And it's not an age discrimination thing. It's just everyone loves to see someone young, not just out there partying, like taking action and going and being an entrepreneur.
Yeah, exactly. And do you think that it helped you in some way to be in your family as you saw your parents that have their own business and they have certain freedom? Do you think that when you decided to start your own business, do you have the support from your family, or they were saying, "Oh, you're crazy, you have to go to school and so on"?
I am extremely fortunate that I had all of that support. Yes, my mom wanted me to go to school, and I was a forever student in college. I think I went for 8 years. Sorry, I paid them for 8 years. I never got a degree. But she was a teacher and she wanted me to go, but she didn't force me. They were very supportive. And I'm so fortunate that because a lot of people do have that scarcity mentality pressured on them that no, you can't do this. You just need to go get a job. And there's nothing wrong with a job if that's what you want and crave, the consistency. Because being an entrepreneur is not easy every day. Like you don't get to just clock out and be done. Things happen after hours and it's you to take care of it. But yes, if you don't have that, I would encourage you to find it. If it's a friend, a mastermind, someone that can feed into you and say, yeah, Harry, you got this. Like, I know this is a really hard day. Tomorrow's going to be better. and that is a needed thing. And this it's kind of a lonely business, being an entrepreneur.
What is the biggest challenge, Adrian, that you have in your business and how you overcome that challenge?
Oh, I want to do too much too fast. I'm
Oh,
an
wow.
Imagineer. I love creating ideas. I'm like, it'd be so awesome if we do this. Well, I don't want to implement it.
So, like,
So that,
sometimes you have 2, 3 ideas and you want to take three of them, but you only can take one, right?
oh yeah. Now I'm at the three, you can only take one. I used to be at 10 and want to do all 10.
And you don't know which one to choose, yeah?
Yeah.
They were all good.
We don't know if they're good until we try them, right?
It's true, it's true.
But
Yeah.
now I've really learned the genius of finding someone that's good at that and hiring them. So I have an office manager now that she just had her week off, no cell phone or anything, and I call that my week of gratitude. I always appreciate her, but man, I appreciate her way more when I have to do her job. And she's
Oh,
good
yeah.
at it. And she's like, "Well, what went wrong?" I'm like, "Nothing really. I just don't enjoy doing those items. They don't fulfill me." The
Mhm.
whole business does. So, the outsourcing, when we're growing, we do it too slow. And I've never heard anyone say, "Oh, I wish I would have waited to outsource longer." Now you have to make sure you have the finances to do it, but we all wish we would have outsourced sooner, made that first hire.
Oh, yeah. Tell
That
me
first
about it.
hire can be 4 hours a week. That's where I started. It was 4 hours a week hiring a stay-at-home mom, and it's fantastic. She grew into a salary employee. Never thought
Oh,
I'd have that.
wow. Yeah. I think that when you grow in the business, you get attached to the business, right? And you say, well, shall I put on other people? What if they steal something from the house? But this attachment, it doesn't allow you to grow. Remember that with our first business with the property, I have managed 7 houses by myself, right? And I'm like, um, working in the Hilton as a room service here in London and with the business also at the same time. And I have always 2 rooms empty, and the 2 rooms empty, we can rent them for 1,200, right? And that was the same money that was making the Hilton in a month. And I have the job, and I didn't want to let go of the job. And then, but eventually, one day I say, okay, I quit in the job, and then next day I rent the 2 rooms and make the same money in one day, right? However, I attach myself to do all the job. Uh, I was like 100% doing 100 things, doing everything: the plumbing, the painting, the renting, the everything. And one day I had this brilliant idea to bring a salesperson, right, to help me with the rental. Oh my God, they can do the job 10 times better than me. It was
Yeah,
ridiculous. So I think that what we're discussing, if you can, when your business allow you and you increase your sales, try to hire people because people can do the thing better than you, right?
yeah. And I
Uh,
totally agree. And I went through the exact same thing. One of my coaches still smirks today when I talk about it
mm,
because he pushed me and
yeah.
I resisted. The other piece of it, of the add on of what you said, is if you have that right person, you get to bless their life and their family
Mm,
with the income. And one thing I'm very big on, it's not just the pay. The business has to satisfy their life. So I don't tell them you have to work these hours. I want them to be able to go on trips
mm,
with their family. I want them,
yeah.
if they need to reschedule a meeting, there's
I will.
not every time thing, but
Mm.
if their child is sick from school, yes, go pick up the, like, I don't want you to have to, like, no, I
But to
have to
give them
work.
flexibility,
Yes, that
flexibility,
is
and
huge for
they are
me.
good. They're working like I said, they waking up every day to do the best to build the wealth, right? For us. So the
Yeah.
least that we can do is treat them fair and be flexible. Now with our employees, we have to be flexible as well. They want to work from home. They want to work a longer hours. They want breaks. So we have to adapt in order to keep the good people, which is really, really. Important, right? I remember in my business, in the office, it's arrived to a point that they didn't need me at all. They were, I was arriving to the office, I say hello, I say Harry, go home, we don't need you. Why you? This it's all taken care. Go home and you,
Harry, that is one of my goals.
eh?
Uh, I'm
Oh,
waiting.
it's
I'm waiting for the
beautiful.
day that Karen tells me that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It
You're
was
you're
some fun.
slowing us down here, Adrian. Go away.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They were telling us like this. Yeah, I think that. But I did have. I tell you a secret. Yeah, this is how I had something in my office that we say, don't come with the problem if you don't bring the solution, right?
Ooh.
So I have this written back my desk, right? And then the people come with the problem, and I said, "Do you read behind what it says?" And then said, "Do you have any solution that you want to propose?" No, I don't have. I said, "Well, bring a proposal." So at the end of the day, they were trained slowly to bring their own solution to a problem, and that's why reached the point that they didn't need me, because when they come to me with the problem, I will tell you, okay, what's the solution? And they get upset. They say, okay, if you're not gonna give me a solution, what's the point for you, for me to ask you? I will solve it myself and so on. So I give them freedom, a lot of freedom. Um, yeah, they did crazy things. They want to go a month holiday, in Christmas, whatever they can do. I said, this is the target. This is the room we have to rent. You do that, you can go holiday for Christmas the whole month. I don't care. And it was like this. We give them flexibility, and uh, and it was amazing. So I think that little by little, we treat it always like a small business. But again, we generate, like I told you, we sold over 5 million during the period of time, and we were five only. It was only a bunch of us. I think, but we were doing something very similar. We were looking at properties, right? And then we were renting them a lower price. Then we painted, we made them really nice, and people came and they were paying top dollar for it, because when they uh, they find it really nice. So I think that it's about. I'm very happy to have this interview with you, because I love entrepreneurs when they think outside the box, right? And
Mhm.
I would like to ask you, this thinking outside the box, where do you think it came from? Do you read any book? Do you got it from your dad, from your mom? Uh,
I- I'm gonna put most of that credit to my dad.
mhm.
My dad, I don't believe there is a box in his head to even think outside of. Because sometimes he
Wow.
comes up with ideas like, how'd you even think of that? He's so creative. Now, a lot of times they don't work out, but our societies today, I think, squash a lot of that creativity, which is a shame because that's how we're on Zoom right now. That's how we're not even in person and we can communicate. Who would have thought of that 100 years ago?
Mhm.
So yeah, I get a lot of that from him. So I enjoy being a little different. That's where my neon yellow kind of came from. Is I didn't want to be the same color shirts as everyone else. I like to be different, and it's a kind of a proud thing that I get from that. And yeah, my dad is very different. He's unique, which is very memorable. My
Mhm.
mom is very encouraging with all of that, and even when the ideas get really crazy,
Mhm.
sometimes I give him a lot of that credit. And also circling back to one of the other questions, they were supportive, and they still are. They
Mhm.
never said, my dad did question a little bit about mobile homes at first, but he never
Everybody will
said, no, you
question.
can't do it.
Everybody will question why. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
He was
they give
questioning
you
because
the
he was
liberty. They
concerned.
give you the freedom to do it.
Yes,
Anyway, which other
exactly.
parent can say no, don't do it. You crazy. You're gonna lose your money, and they could create the. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
At least
exactly.
they
So,
give you allow you to try, right?
yeah,
Uh,
so I give him most of that credit. And, then you feel a little of that success and you're like, oh, this is working. And you do it again and then that builds. So that's how I market is I'm just a little different and I'm memorable. So people remember me. That's why we have this beautiful mobile home behind because you're going to remember this if you like it or
no,
not.
no one will forget. I can tell you that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Steve Jobs said you don't need to be better than anybody else. You only
Yeah.
have to be different. Steve Jobs said that. several times. So by you being yourself and you be your own unique and you have your own business, right?
Yep.
We is what is important is to add value to the marketplace. What is important is to provide a solution to society. What is important is, that the people with lower income, they also deserve a decent place to live, right? And if your
Yeah.
business can provide that and actually give you good cash flow, and they can have a decent place to live and they can pay less, uh, happy day. Someone had to fill that gap, right? And this was you. So last question is, what message do you have uh, specifically for property investors that they would like to start the journey, right? To invest in this space, how they can contact you, how they can work with you, how they can contribute with you, how does it work?
The easiest way to get started is reading my book, How to Buy Mobile Homes. You know, it goes back to those 5 steps that you mentioned, you asked me earlier.
Mhm.
You got to take some action. If you're not sure about mobile homes, read the book and you might say, you know what? Mobile homes are not for me. Great. Less than $20, you found that out. Or you say, oh, yeah, they're great. And my contact information's on there. I'm on social media. My website is lifestyle-rei.com. You can get a hold of me all through there, but you don't know if they're for you without getting some type of education, getting past some of the stereotypes, because we got a lot of negative stereotypes there. And then I would re-listen to this whole show if you're not. There were so many golden nuggets for every entrepreneur over and over that you were saying, and it just happened. If you have to take something from this episode and go take immediate action. If it's your morning routine, if it's deciding I'm going to give more value to the marketplace than I have been, we can never outgive the system and outgive the value. That's one of the keys. Once I finally learned that, business got better, life got better. My job is always to add value. And what Zig Ziglar says, if you help enough people get what they want, you will get what you want. It's something like that. And I live by that quote now because it's true. And it's happened over and over and over in my life. I understand it, and it's still wild how much it happens.
Love that quote. And on that note, thank you so much, Adrian, for joining this podcast, and to every single one of you that is listening this podcast, Unstoppable. How brave entrepreneurs think outside the box and create amazing business and hit the $1 million mark in sales or more. So follow us on our next episode. Bye for now.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.